Well, the Ministry of Labor is changing the conditions under which work permits are issued. Starting immediately, work permits will no longer be given to business owners unless there is a Bahamian identified to take the place of the permit holder. This is among a list of sweeping changes announced by Labor Minister the Honorable Shane Gibson. Shanique Miller reports tonight on the effects of the new changes.
It's a practice that's decades old, business owners receiving work permits with the promise of having a Bahamian shadow the foreign worker holding the permit. But it seldom, if ever, happens. Labor Minister Shane Gibson says that will be a thing of the past.
The Department of Labor, in collaboration with the Department of Immigration, has revamped the process for notice for vacancy for labor certificates. And I am confident, Mr. Speaker, that no work permit will be issued unless the Department of Labor and Immigration are certain that a Bahamian is given an opportunity to fill the position. Additionally, Mr. Speaker, in the event a work permit is issued, the government has put a system in place whereby a Bahamian is identified as an understudy and a training program is implemented and monitored by the inspectorate unit. And my ministry is reviewing the fee schedule and payment structure for the labor certificates with a view of increasing revenue for the government, because those fees have not increased for some time. But, Mr. Speaker,
workers' rights and the protection of workers also to be beefed up through the establishment of an inspectorate unit. Gibson says the new inspectorate unit is to ensure that all statutes related to employment are adhered to by employers. In recent months, the government has rolled out many heads of agreement detailing an upcoming project. Those HOAs often have included promises to assist with the upgrade of public infrastructure or training. However, it appears the investor doesn't always deliver on the agreed-to promises, and it's been happening for years. They get away with it because there's no one monitoring what happens. Well, that won't be allowed to continue as of now.
This is very important because we have heads of agreement that are signed all the time. But the problem we have is nobody actually monitors these heads of agreement to ensure that the commitments made by the developers are actually carried out. And so in many instances we found out that developers themselves took advantage of the fact that we didn't have any unit in the government monitoring to make sure if they promise to and commit to X amount of training and invest X amount of training, they have to do it. If they promise to have the foreign workers leave the job by X date and have it fully Bahamianized, in most cases they fail to do it. And so we now monitor that very closely to make sure at the end of the day that we get all we're supposed to get out of these heads agreement, not only look at getting everything up front. We want everything in the middle and the back end, which we're supposed to get as well.
Minimum wage to be tackled as well. Minister Gibson hopes to soon level the playing field when it comes to minimum wage. As it now stands, minimum wage is $175 in the private sector and $210 in the public sector. However, Gibson hopes to bring minimum wage payment in both sectors at the same level. Shanique Miller, ZNS Network News.